Well, you have been listening to President Erdogan on our sister channel TRT in his final live interview before the referendum that begins on Sunday, finishing there with an anecdote about his grandchildren watching popular Turkish television, saying that the vote coming on Sunday is a chance for togetherness, the four pillars of Rabia, one nation, one flag, one country and one state. A wide-ranging interview given by President Erdogan to Erhan Çelik, where they talked about a number of issues. I've got with us our editor-at-large, Ahmed Al Burai, who was listening. And so, Ahmed, we've listened to a long interview where they went through a lot of different issues. Let's pick up some of the points that they discussed. First of all, the confidence. The interview started with President Erdogan displaying a sense of confidence that he thought he would win and predicting how much he would win by. What did you make of what he said?
The proposed constitution reflects the civilian supremacy over a military legacy. And that's what President Erdogan believes he's doing. And he believes that this package is going to be endorsed by the people because of this. He is going to end a constitution that has been governing Turkey for more than 35 years, since the coup of 1980 that was drafted by a military junta. And he believes that just because of this reason, the people are going to endorse it, because they've been living through the anathema of the coalition governments, the economic problems, and he believes that the only leverage for the economy of Turkey, for the democracy of Turkey, is to have a new package, a new system. That what is lacked on the front of the opposition. They do not have that campaign. They're not campaigning as strong as the AK Party because, as he said, they do not have that kind of belief in what they're proposing to the people.
Absolutely. And one of the points he mentioned, there are going to be 18 constitutional amendments coming in on Sunday if President Erdogan and the AK Party win the referendum. He mentioned that they actually wanted 60 new articles to be brought in because, as you rightly mentioned, this constitution that's currently operating in Turkey was drafted by a military junta.
You know what happened to the constitution since it was drafted in 1982? It has amended for more than 16 times. And at the time of AK Party, it was amended. This is the 10th time the AK Party amended, which utterly shows and manifests that there are genuine defects in the structure of the whole constitution. And that's what the president wants to change it. And surprisingly enough, that it's not only President Erdogan, other presidents like Turgut Özal, like Erdogan, like the founder of the MHP, the Nationalist Movement Party, Turkish Alparslan, he also called for this new system. And that's why you would feel that what's happening in the clamor of the media and the fuzz over the media all over the world, and they're speaking about a dictatorship, Turkey is tottering down the path of anarchy and one-man rule. It's completely a kind of hyperbole, exaggeration. It's not true when it comes to the real amendments, what we're reading.
And we will come to that in a moment. But let's just take a listen as President Erdogan was speaking. He didn't mention the relationship with Europe and what may well happen after the vote on the 16th. Let's take a listen to President Erdogan talking about Turkey's relationship with Europe.
After Sunday, following Sunday, we are going to get together with the Prime Minister, with our government, with our cabinet, and discuss this, because for 54 years the EU has made us suffer, and enough is enough. 54 years we're talking about here, and there is no other country like Turkey that went through this ordeal. No other country suffered as much as Turkey, and we are not the whipping boy of the EU, and they should know their place. They tell us that our population is high, our income is high, and that's why Germans do not want you, Germans, French do not want you, but we don't buy into that any longer. One of the founding members, the UK, you know what happened? They yes. voted for Brexit.
Now, one of the points he was making there about Turkey's relationship with Europe after April the 16th is that Europe in itself is changing fundamentally anyway, and perhaps Turkey doesn't actually want to become part of that huge club.
Well, Kamali, when it comes to the Turkey-EU relationships, it's a kind of a tragedy, to be honest, because it's been like 5 centuries. They've been within this accession talks, and nothing it's not fruitful at all. And as the president said, enough is enough. We need to find a different way of negotiation. And that's why you feel that Europe in general is worried if the yes vote a triumph in the pending referendum, because they believe that Erdogan, as an influential executive, he's going to take the whole package into the people, and he would take it to another referendum and ask the people, would you still have interest in joining EU, or would you like to have a different strategy? That's one of the main problems that but on the other hand, Europe believes that Turkey is very important, that it's not easy to leave it or to discard what's happening. But they need to take into account that now, or Turkey under Erdogan as a full enabled president is not going to accept that it's NATO's eastern flank anymore. It's going to be a genuine partner, that her concerns and interests are going to be taken seriously, and like, for example, the deal with the refugees, they will not accept that you promised them in a cordial way, but when it comes to serious meeting, you're not taking them seriously. That's what Erdogan said himself.
And on refugees, exactly, he made the point that, of course, in the refugee deal that was agreed between Turkey and the EU, Turks would be given visa-free travel throughout the Schengen zone, and Turkey would then try and stop the number of refugees going into Europe. Now, Turkey says they've stuck by their part of the bargain, but Europe have let them down, only giving 700 million of a promised 3 billion. Let's just, before we move on to discuss that, listen to what President Erdogan had to say about the refugee situation.
These people, some of these people, these refugees, some are in refugee camps, some are staying in makeshift camps, and some are living in our cities. And some of these people are professionals. Some are doctors, some are teachers, and some are pharmacists, some lawyers, and so on and so forth. They all come from different professions, tens of thousands of people. So why shouldn't we benefit from this human capital? That's what we think. And right now, in terms of employing workers, when you look at our legislation, in terms of employment rights, of course, we cannot employ these people unless they're citizens. Otherwise, it would be illegal, or it would be informality, and as such, it's a crime. So, taking this step and naturalizing some of these highly qualified Syrian refugees is a big opportunity. And let me underscore this once again. I mean qualified, highly qualified, skilled workers. That's the criterion that we should be looking at.
Now, the point that he was making there, Ahmed, linking these Syrian refugees, the highly qualified ones, is about Turkey's growth and how he sees Turkey growing in the next 10 to 15 years. And it kind of relates to the fear that President Erdogan was talking about then, that Europe have of Turkey kind of surpassing Europe in a way and moving past them. And that's one of the reasons why these accession talks have taken so long.
First of all, you know, the leader, when he's speaking, Erdogan as a leader, he's a leader with a vision that we need to take Turkey into a different front. And it's Turkey's fast-paced growth that he's always looking forward and he's always thinking about. And that refutes the idea of being a dictator or one-man rule. He has one clear vision. But when it comes to refugees, unlike Europe, he's not picky. He's not selective. At the very beginning, he opened the door to all the refugees, and Turkey hosts the biggest number, and it shoulders the biggest burden when it comes to the refugees, more than, as he said, more than $25 billion, including the NGOs and these stuff, while the EU just pledged for $3 billion and gave them less than $1 billion. So, but now he has the chance, the same as he said, Canada, we can make use of this professional workforce, and we can make use of them, so we can integrate them, and they're normalized in the Turkish workforce, and that will help Turkey develop more and more. To be honest, when it comes to Europe, you would have like a big question mark why they're not interested in this. Because it's a complete democracy. It's just, I do believe, it's just self-interest. They want Turkey to do its share on the refugee deal, but on the other hand, they're not doing their deal. And that's why Erdogan is really angry from this kind of stance.
Absolutely. He was very angry. He used the word crazy quite a few times, referring to the Germans and the French. OK, now, of course, we said earlier that he is confident of winning on Sunday. He said that the Yes campaign has fought an enthusiastic campaign all across the nation in places where the No campaign didn't go, also saying that their campaign was fought in the squares where they flourished. Let's just take a little listen to some of President Erdogan talking about winning the referendum.
All the polls, all the survey companies indicate, all of them, almost all of them indicate that it's going to be a yes. But sometimes some of them, the difference between the yes and no vote is sometimes 1% and 2% or 3%, some more. So on Sunday, I believe that the result may be in favor of yes, with a marked difference. And this is going to be the manifestation of our national will. And it's going to be a testament to the fact that the people embrace this new model.
Well, of course, the No campaign have been out and busy in the run-up to this vote on Sunday. The leader of the CHP was campaigning here in Istanbul. He says a vote against the reforms is a vote for democracy.
Bütün vatandaşlarıma sesleniyorum.
I'm calling out to our citizens from the AK Party, MHP, HDP, Patriotic Party and Felicity Party. Let us protect the Republic. Let's not destroy our Republic by going on an adventure. Let us not gamble with the future of our children. Let's not sacrifice our equality of opportunity and equality of justice and the right to question our taxes through voting hastily. We have to protect our history. We have to protect our democracy. Let us protect our democracy. We have to protect the Grand National Assembly of Turkey. It's a heavy responsibility to vote yes. People who vote yes could not explain this to their children. I do not want anybody to have this responsibility. You may like somebody very much, or you may be a member of a political party. But we are neither electing somebody nor voting for a political party. We are voting for a democracy. This constitutional change solves which problems of Turkey? Does it solve the terror problem? Is there any bylaw that will provide stability in the economy? Is there any bylaw that will raise Turkey's reputation? Is there any regulation that will heal Turkey's foreign policy? Our job is easy and difficult at the same time. It is easy if we use our minds, but if we decide with our prejudices, it wouldn't be right. We have to get rid of them. This constitution is for all of us, and we have to make it perfect. Yes, there are deficiencies, and we have to change them, but national feelings should be reflected in this constitution.
That was Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, the leader of the CHP party, laying out his reasons for voting no, Ahmed. Now, one of the main issues that have come up, one of the main charges that's levelled against President Erdogan is this idea that if he wins the vote on Sunday, it becomes single-man rule. How do you think he answered those points in that interview that we listened to?
That's the irony of Kılıçdaroğlu himself, because President Erdogan always repeats that the guy, either he is misleading the public or he lacks the basic information about the whole package. Because Kılıçdaroğlu, the leader of the Republican People's Party, CHP, the main opposition party in Turkey, he himself said, if the president is from one party and the prime minister from a different party, we're going to have conflict, disagreement, that will eventually lead to instability. But the crux of the whole issue is that we're going to join both of them and we're not going to have a position of a prime minister. And that's the irony of this man. What he's speaking about, as I told you, is something why the whole package is being offered to the people. And President Erdogan believes that the man didn't read the constitution itself. They based their whole criticism and objections on the personality of Erdogan, and the overwhelming fearmonger media outlets of the opposition. They're trying to portray that a dictator is coming, while in fact they did not go through the articles, they did not discuss it. Even the parties, I mean the opposition parties, they lack or they missed the opportunity at the time the constitution started. President Erdogan asked them to offer their own version of the constitution so that the committee can start and embark on the discussion based on their own version, and they refused. And that led to the deadlock we're facing nowadays.
What about the other complaints that were levelled there? President Erdogan mentioned them from the OSCE, that opposition parties hadn't been given a relevant voice during the campaigning.
That's the impartiality of the auditors. Erdogan speak about them, that they should be impartial when it comes to monitoring or observing. And that's what I mean. If you have a dictator, they should go and visit real dictators in the region, because they don't know, it seems that they don't know the definition of a dictator. Assad is a dictator, but nobody is speaking about it, speaking about him. If you look at other dictators in the region, you would see that it is a pity when you're speaking about the model in Turkey as if it's an autocracy, as if it is a one-man rule, while the West has allies who are killing their own people and who have real autocracies in the region, and nobody is speaking about them. So I believe we should, as the West should know, that Turkey is still a beacon of democracy, and still it should be supported as a model in this tumultuous area where blood is there. They still need a strong man like President Erdogan to be a partner, a regional partner who could help them, not only NATO, but also the United States as well.
Absolutely. Okay, Ahmed Al Burai, we do wait with bated breath to see what happens on Sunday. Thank you so much for being with us throughout the evening.